Hello, everybody. This is Marijana Smolčec from Ogulin, Croatia, your eTwinning Inclusive Education Group moderator. Today is the 24th of May, and it's my great pleasure to have you all here and for our fourth expert talk with my dear colleague and friend Priscila Mateini from Brazil. The interesting thing that Priscilla is actually here for the second time because she already had a great online presentation for us. If you remember, some of you were there. It was on the 16th of October in 2015 when she talked about how to teach children with special needs and how to adapt materials. But Priscilla is now back with us where she's going to give us more info about what kind of useful apps, online apps, tools, or maybe for iPhone, for iPad, or any other kind of tools to use, and how they could work with our students, or how she uses with her students. Priscilla is a teacher with about 7 years of experience in teaching English language in Rio de Janeiro, in Brazil. And she holds a BA in classical languages and English language. She is also a postgraduate in linguistic studies. And at the moment, she is an English mediator and researcher on adapting materials for special education needs. I would say that Priscilla has such a valuable experience in working with, I would say even personal experience with working with children and students with autism. And her fantastic tweets in April helped us so much to understand how to work with such students, and I would like to thank her that as well. At that time, she was our guest Twitter, and now she is our expert talk for the second time. Priscilla, thank you one more time for coming. I'm going to have more information about our activities after Priscilla does her presentation. And now, thank you everybody for coming. Welcome Europe, welcome Priscilla and Brazil. And Priscilla, the mic is yours. I'm going to get your presentation ready.
Hello, everyone. It's a huge pleasure to be here with you all from many parts of Europe. I saw some people from Turkey, Greece, Croatia, Bosnia, so it's Italy. Thank you for coming. And thank you so much for dropping by. And I hope I can help you here today. But first of all, my presentation, I would like to share with you some apps that will be useful on your classroom. Sometimes we face some students with special educational needs and we don't know how to work with them. So in 2014, I did my first presentation in Brazil, so at the Braz TESOL about special education. And in that moment, I share with some teachers and educators there some apps that I use to work with them. And these apps was very useful to me that time because of my student used to have iPad and they come to class with them to help them to speak. And I saw that it was very good to use things that they used to have to giving them learning opportunity. So this is why I tried, this was the beginning when I tried to use apps and some websites with kids with autism and dyslexia. So, but first of all, I would like to share with you that in the education field today, in the special education field today, there are some new trends that we want to say that about teaching kids with special educational needs. In April, a good friend of mine, maybe I don't know if some of you know her. Her name is Rose Bard, and we were friends for some years ago. We met in the internet in an online course called ITDI, and she sent to me a podcast from an Australian teacher, and his teaching practices is focused on learning activities supporting children to manage develop emotional regulation. So I think that some of you have seen that movie called the Inside Out. Have you seen that movie Inside Out? So that movie tried to show the people, not special kids, but people in general, how to deal with some emotional aspects. So people are not don't know how to deal with blue, with love, with hate, with kindness, happiness. So that movie shows so much for kids with autism spectrum, the idea how to deal with this aspect in our lives. So, and this teacher from Australia, he designed some materials, some and using some apps that contributed to some studying, and this studying nowadays are calling autism pedagogy. There are some I'm gonna show to you. I'm gonna share here with you. His name is Craig Smith. He is from Australia, and maybe some of you will know him. And he had a podcast. It's very interesting. If you have time, it is 45 minutes, and then he will explain for you how can you use some apps in this idea. But today, I would like to talk a little bit about some apps on tablet and also on your website that might help you to engage your student through this activity. So, but first, take a look. Oh, here. Just a minute. Yeah. I really like Steve Jobs, and before I get involved with autism spectrum student, I used to know to read his biography and some news about him, and then some people, some studies has telling that Steve Jobs would be, some people saying that kind of autism, kid with autism, but I don't know. I cannot say it is true or no. This is a fact that people are saying, but I don't know if it's true or not. But I love so much this quotation from him. Technology is nothing. What is important is that you have a faith in people that are basically good and smart. And if you are giving them tools, they will do wonderful things with them. I remember that I had a student with autism spectrum that he was brilliant. He tried to interact with us not by book. He loved to interact with us with manga, a kind of a Japanese comics, and he tried to play this game with other kids, but he learned how to speak English through it. So through technology, because he tried to play with that game. So, and then he decided to read this kind of book comics that helping him to learn more English. And it is very interesting that there are some trends, some people talking about that most of the time people related to technology, they have some suspicions that most of them are in the spectrum autism. But they are different. But they do something that most of us could not do. But we teacher focus on these abilities that they have, we can help them to move on. So this is the idea that I agree with Steve Jobs' quotation, because all the time that I saw a kid that he have strength, he have ability to learn more about English or about anything else, I try to help them, to engage them, to work with them some abilities. So most of the time I have to work with them with social skills, that they are not used to. So this is important, and this is how it is very important for us to help to engage them. And here, I'm gonna start to show to you some apps that I use with these kids. So these kids here for autism apps that I select some of them, and this one was the one that I used to work in 2014 and I still work until today. It is a very nice tool, and most of them, most of the time, I can work and I can plan my lesson with them. So I have here the content that I can adapt to my content, the school content of my school curriculum. There is no problem at all. So if you have some things that you have to teach them, same and different, so you're gonna use this app. So I can show here in this. I'm gonna show now. Just a minute. So here, can you see? You can see here? Yeah. So I use this. I put this on my cell phone and also in my iPad. Some links that I use with them. So here I have the same here that you have on the presentation. I have here my phone. So we have some language concepts. We use it to play like a comprehension. If he or she understands what my
Hello? I think we lost Priscilla. Let me see. Yeah, well, she probably lost some connections. We are going to wait for her just a moment. Can you hear me? Yeah, she's back. Okay, great, Priscilla, you're back. Okay.
the opposite strange. I don't know. Something strange happened. So sorry, guys. So can you can hear me? Yes, everybody can hear me? Yes or no? Yeah, okay. So, my name is wrong here, but don't worry about. So, we try to use them, for example, double A questions for who builds the house. And in these apps, we have some occupation. For example, here we have doctor, carpenter, and or astronaut. And he have to select what kind of who builds their house. There is a house, and they have to mark here the option that is correct. So most of the time we are working with books that maybe not be very good enough for this kind of kids. So they have something to be more concrete instead of being abstract. So this is the idea that we work with. And most of the time, these apps are for free. They are available. So you can work there on the, if you have an iPhone at iTunes, so you're gonna put there autism help. In the end of the presentation, I will put available my presentation so you can and you can go there and find all the links gonna be there to help you. Okay. So what happens to this? There are more than 10 kinds of I help for autism, and this is not only to work with autistic kids. You can use this to work with dyslexia kids or IHD, so there's no problem at all. Okay, so it is very nice kind of apps that you can use it to. For this one, I work a lot with small kids. For example, for kindergarten and kids that are for the first grade, second grade. So we work a lot with this about animals. So in this app, you can use, for example, work with them pets, farm animals, safari animals, so wild animals. So you have many options to work with about this. And for example, you can adapt to your student content. There is no necessity to work only because they are special. Okay, no, you can work with the whole class. Okay, so you can work with, for example, memorization. And this, if the kid click on the picture, that's gonna produce the sound. For example, for a dog, how does a dog say? What does the dog say? So you can work with them the sound. You can work with them double weight question. Do you go to the do you like, for example, do you like cat or dog? So the kids are gonna explain, oh, I like cat because cat you do this and that. Okay, and you can play other things. So here I give you an example about Simon Says. Okay, so Simon says you have to find out in your book account. So they're gonna find out this. Most of the time, these activities you have to work in pairs. Okay, so I'm not talking about a huge classroom, a full classroom. Okay, I'm talking about here, for my experience, 20 or 25 students. So more than this, of course, it is not good enough to teach them. So you, most of the time, these kids have some problem with behavior. So the teacher have to be aware of the content, what she or he is supposed to teach, and also to take care of the kids. So these, most of the time, using a smartphone, a tablet, or also a computer in your classroom may help slow down some kids that has some attitudes that they cannot work with. So this is the idea, okay? But you have to take care of it. You have to first take, you have to look to your student and see, oh, can I work with this app with my student? So you have to adapt to your reality. Okay, so in this case, my student is not a big and crowded classroom. It is small, and I can just be with them all the time. I get to all the time in touch with. Okay. So for example, I prefer to work when I work with this kind of kids, working in small groups, 2 or 3, because I can watch them, observe them. So this is the idea, and I can scaffold them. So what is the problem? What's going on? I understand. They understand my task. So I can elicit from them what I'm doing now, guys, what we are supposed to do right now. So this is the idea. You don't know, you just pick the apps and throw them for playing. It's not the idea. The idea is we there to use it for their learning activity and the learning process. All right, so you can use this, for example, if they love animals all the time. Kids love animals, and for kids with special needs, some families prefer have an animal to involve the kids, to have the kids for a more special, more social skills, or creating them an emotional idea what is to have an animal. So most of the time, rabbits, cats, dogs, or they are at home with these kids. For example, I'm a mother of an autistic child. I have birds. He love my kid, love birds. So I have 2 birds here. So I know that it is something that to help us. Okay, so most of the time. And the third one, sorry, is a Spider Jack's Slaking and Journey. This is a very nice app that you can work with storytelling with some kids. Okay, there are some kids, for example, I have a student with dyslexia that he didn't try. We tried to use them some, for example, activities to write, but he did anything. And the teacher and the other teacher, the Portuguese teacher, was suffering a lot because he stopped copying everything from the board. And the coordinator asked me if I could observe her class to see what was the problem, because in the English classroom he was perfect. He was perfect. He copied the activity, he did everything, but when it was from the class for Portuguese, math, science, he stopped doing anything. So, this moment when I was observing him, he saw that I was in class. He was in the front row, from very close to the teacher, and from almost in front of the whiteboard. And I tried to write down what things that I saw. It was different from my classroom. And I saw that in the Portuguese classroom, the teacher was speaking too loud, and he was trying to get to confuse it. So that moment, he was not paying attention at all. He was there, but anything he could cope because of his attention was not there. It's everywhere. So the class is over, and when I come to her and say, so try to use some ideas from my English class. Could you come to my class and see how we are working with him? And she was open, because most of the time, to work with kids with special needs, we have to be open to work together, all the teachers. Even though that teacher that doesn't want to work in groups, so it is necessary for them and for us, because we can help them and we can help each other. So this is the attitude that we have to raise in your schools. So we are not alone. We have the same problem. We all teachers there have to help each other with any kind of problem. So that moment, I talked to her that I used to make a big circle, and I decided to use the Spider Jack, this story here, the app, with the iPad. So I tried to use the iPad with him. He was beside me, and I was retelling the story from the app to like a whisper. Okay? So, for example, Spider Jack went to the rainforest. Now you have to talk to your friend. In this moment, he was understand what I was doing. So I said to him, so you now have to retell to your friend what you heard, okay? So he did it. And she tried to use this idea in her Portuguese classroom. And this student changed a lot. And the parents come to us and say that it was totally different what was doing in the classroom. He was happy to be there. So it is very important that we have to do this. Okay. So there are I see that Ida, but it's a problem about infrastructure in our country. I totally agree with you, Ada. The school that I teach, they don't have, for example, available for all the students tablets. So I take my own tablet to the school. So in this time, they don't have it. Here where I teach is it is the court side of outskirts from Rio. So it is not a very good place, and these people have a big problems with violence. So this school that I teach them, it was like a volunteering. I was not paid, but I was there to help these kids in English classroom, because they don't have English teacher in that moment. So I volunteer myself to be there. So this is the idea. I try to use my things to the classroom. But I know that many countries, not even in Europe, but also in America, South America, we do have this problem, and it is a huge problem to use apps when we don't have materials advice. So I agree with you. And the other things that I work with, but it's not from small kids. Now I'm talking about for teenagers. And we try to use some Padlet and Linux. So in this here, I didn't work with them in a tablet. By the way, I work with them in a computer. So we went to the computer lab from the school. It's another school. Now it is a school from another city that I work in a city called Niterói. It is, of course, it's a wealthy city, not different from this one that I teach you the previous app. So I'm bringing to you all kind of reality, not only for the reality for the wealthy classroom, middle age, no, like this. I'm talking about it for different levels of you can use it, and you can be free to use that in your schools. And the Padlet, you can work with them, or the Linux. Many things. For example, this one that you can see here in the presentation, we use it for 200 years of Pride and Prejudice celebration, and Johnny Austen book novel. So in this Linux, we use to work with trying to work with some part of the book that these kids was reading for their English classroom, for other time. For example, they read this book in the last semester, and I try to talk to the previous teacher what kind of book they was to read, because in our institution we have something like that. We have in the first semester they have to read one book, and the second semester they have to work with that previous book that was given for to read. So they read in that time the Pride and Prejudice, and it was a celebration. So was everybody talking about? The Guardian did a two-page two-page articles about the this this app, this novel. And there was about the movie from Kira Knightley. So I try to use things for the first moment. They watched the movie. So it was about 1 hour. Our class was about 1 hour and 15 minutes. So the first they watched the movie. Of course, this movie was not good. They complain, "Oh, it's boring, teacher." But you have to watch the video, the movie, because after that we're gonna do a journal. So it is important for you. So they saw the movie in English with subtitle in Portuguese. Of course, this is a basic activity, the basic to pre-intermediate. And then we select some part of the book, and I brought them to the lab, the computer lab from my institution, and showed them in all computer, which was about 10 computers in this computer lab. They were supposed to be three in the with together, work together, and they were supposed to find out um, things from internet, looking for movies, films, um, quotations about the movie and about the novel. So they decide to do that. So this that you can see here in the presentation was created for them. I was there just giving them support. You have to look for this on the website Go Google it. So you're gonna find it. So this is the idea, all right? And after that, this Linux be there for every every time you put it there. It is on the internet. So it is there. Any teacher can be and give some hints, some advice, can give them some comments, and this is open for everyone. So if you want to talk to them, they're still there. It is not for this year, for the last year. So it is there. You can work and connect them. You can show this to your student, and also this they can, for example, interact to each other. There is no problem at all. And of course, it is about or something that they were supposed to read, and also learning. And for example, these kids, two kids was in this project, was the one with Down syndrome and also one with autism spectrum. And of course, they work with separate groups, and the groups knows him for a long time, so they know how could be working, how it could be difficult for them, so they help. For example, the autistic child, he was very good on writing, so they decided him to write, and then they just give some notes. Oh, you put this and put that. That's okay. So it was very good. Engage everyone, and it was a very successful in this activity. The another one, it is a dragon dictation. So this is very nice for work, for example, pronunciation, or most of the time you can work with them. This activity, I work with a student. This was not for a classroom, was a private student. He's from a bilingual school, and he must to be with a private teacher to continue his work during the school. So I gave him some lesson during the in the morning, and after in the afternoon another teacher from school, like a mediator, would be there to help him out. So, and he was through many difficulties to pronounce some verbs, to pronounce some words, and we used to work a lot with this dictation. And of course, for example, deaf student, in a school, in this institution that I work, there are three students with deaf, they are deaf, and how could they understand? How could you say not just read by the lips, but also not for the language sign language, but also with an app that a friend would talk to him, and he after that you're gonna see what is written on. It is very very nice, and it is very good. You can work a lot of things here, okay? So you can work with dictation, you can work with try to find out what I told you, so you can share this message to other friends with another smartphone. So the funny thing is, let's send a message to Gustavo, who is in the other side of the classroom. So let's speak. So they have to speak, and they send it to Gustavo by Wi-Fi if it is possible during the classroom. Okay. Another thing that is very very nice. They love this a lot. It is called ultra text. I don't know. It is not here. It is a small video, and this video you can work with them some things that you can, like a small test you can send by message, you can send by WhatsApp, you can put on Facebook, you can do whatever you want. It is very nice tools, and they love to work with this. The ultra text, if you can see, It is something like this. I send one ultra text to the eTwin. So, and it was very nice that some people reply. So I put hello eTwin, hello from Brazil. So you can use this with many things. There is no problem at all. And this is the ultra text. I'm gonna show you here one that I'm gonna do right now. Okay, so I'm gonna put it here. You have to put it here, for example. Hello, hello, oh, hello, people. How are you? Okay, and I can send this to, for example, gonna be this. Hello, people, how are you? I can send them by a message or I can test them for another thing. So I can send them for, as you can see here. I can send for Facebook, Twitter, I can copy everything, okay? So this is the idea. And I sent to the group. It is there, so you can check it out there. Okay? Yes, yes. I posted there on the Facebook. So it is very nice. You can work a lot many things with them. And of course, guys, these ideas you have to adapt to reality, okay? Most of the time, these apps are available for everybody. So it is, of course, that not most of the time we cannot work all the time with them with these apps. But two times in a month, it should it should be perfect because it is gonna interact them. And we cannot forget that most of the time these kids love this kind of activities. All right, and we can engage them with this. So this is the purpose of these apps that I'm showing to you. So the idea is to get them all together to an inclusive education. Not, oh, I'm gonna put him there, I'm gonna use this with just with him, and the others I'm gonna use the content. No, the idea of using apps in the classroom, in an inclusive education classroom, is this idea. So we have to include everybody with all this. Even it is hard, I know it is difficult sometimes, but it is the idea that I see with my experience to get all them together, to get them to raise awareness, also to acceptance. So this is the idea that we are supposed to try to help these kids, okay? Because we know that um, one 1 million kids only in Brazil are suffering for autism. On 1 million kids. So imagine that in, for example, in Europe, USA, Asia, and Africa. So there are each day it is increasing this. So we have to look forward. We have to know that it is not something that we can live without anymore. Okay, a long time ago, kids with spectrum autism, kids with Down syndrome and dyslexia would be not in a normal class. But now, today, with many people arguing about that, we can really enjoy them. Okay, so the another thing that I work a lot with my students, it is this website called ELS Game Plus. This is this is very good. So I can say that this is the first one, the number one from my classroom, and I use them almost all the class because I use them for warm up, and sometimes I use it for in the end of the classroom. Why? Because it is engage them in all content that you are teaching. These websites have all I'm gonna show it to you. um, they have many ideas that you can create your lesson plan with that. So it is marvelous. So if you have a computer in your classroom, or for example, I don't have a computer in my classroom, I have to pick up my student to the computer lab. Take them because they're gonna love it and play with this. So we have a lot of activity that we can play. For example, uh, about vocabulary, practicing grammar, practicing many things about cultural aspects. So it is very nice, and it is gonna engage all the classroom and even you, because you gonna be there, and you can be help them. So you can be the judge because you can work with them. Uh, for example, there are naval battles. There are, for example, hangman, but all in computer. So it is very, very nice. And of course, this is not only for kids with special needs. No, it is available for everyone. And you can copy, and you can print, you can do many things that is printable there, is available. There is no problem at all. And another one that I suggest to you, if you have a student with dyslexia, so there is these websites called British Dyslexia Association. So you can go there, and there are more than 20 websites and 20 apps that you can adapt to your students. So you can adapt to your content, you can adapt to your material. There is no problem at all, and the most of them are free. So it is important for us. Okay, most of these, I think 90% of these apps that I suggest to you are free. So it's available for Android and also for iTunes. So you don't have to pay for anything. So this is the best for us. Yes. So you can find there things that you're gonna help you, and you can, for example, interact with the other teachers, like for example the eTwinning. So we have for hashtag eTwinning inclusive education. So if you have, oh, I know a new for example, I know a new app that's gonna help a teacher in Italy, so you can send to her. So this interactive, this sharing has to be all the time, because what I know, I can help another teacher from another country. For example, like I'm doing here. All the things that I know here, I find out by myself. I didn't went to any place to have this. I didn't find this in university, anything. I just find internet. I find out, I look for things, and I search, and I think that was good for my student, and I decided, oh, if it's good for my student, I'm gonna share this for everybody else. It's gonna help many other kids. So this is the idea that we are trying to raise this idea of sharing and caring. It is better for us teachers because we don't have much material, such as, for example, teaching English for normal classes. Okay, so we have thousands and millions of materials for regular classes, but for a special needs student, we have to create. We have to have more time to prepare. We have to do things that is completely different from a normal class. So this is the idea. So, and we have to do this with all the time. If you have any material, please share to your friend. Don't be alone in this. And try to do this to your friends in your schools. Okay? Help the other teacher. Maybe the other teacher don't know how to deal with that kid. So you're gonna be a friend for them. So this is the idea that we from inclusive education try to raise on your own educational field. We have to spread the ideas for everywhere, because most of people do not know how to deal with these kids, and we have to help them This is the idea. And another thing that I would like to share with you, it is this book. I don't know. Here in Brazil, this book is not here. It is not in Portuguese. It is in English, and it is called Neurotribes. This is a Steven Silberman. He is a very well-known author from from California and from USA, and his book is all the time. It is a bestseller in many countries, and he is like I said for the in the beginning about trends, about the special educational needs trends. He is trying to change some ideas that we thinking about special needs students. So he instead of he say that a kid is a special needs student, he wants to make people to thinking about neurodiversity, because we know that these kind of kids, they're different. So this is the idea for that. So these neural tribes only try to explain that we are not different, we are not the same, and that we are different, but we are not less than anyone. So everybody has your differences. So this is the importance that we have to raise nowadays. So a student with autism, it is not different. It's not less than anyone. He is only different. Okay? For a Down syndrome kid, he is different, but he is not less. Here in Brazil, we have thousands and thousands of examples about kids that are graduating high school, and now we have three that is graduating university. Imagine how many of these kind of kids are get bigger and bigger because people are thinking differently. So we have to think about this. We have to accept. We have to understand that we have conditions to be a person like anybody else. So I love so much this quote from Silberman in his book, because the notion that conditions like autism, dyslexia, and attention deficit hyperactive disorder (ADHD) should be regarded as naturally cognitive variation with distinct strength that has contributed to the evolution of technology and culture rather than mere checklist to deficit and dysfunction. So if we're thinking about this, we can do many things, and we can change many concepts that people think that people with special needs cannot go forward. It's not true. This is a myth, and we have to fight for this, because we know that they can go beyond, and we know that they can go very good and brilliant in life. Okay, so I'm gonna finish here my presentation. So I would like to hear from you some questions. I'm open now for you. I have you can follow me on the Twitter, and also I have a website there. I have some posts talking about the inclusive education, also about also special from autism spectrum view point of view, and I hope that I could bring it to you some ideas that would help your classroom and improve to the learning process to your students. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for coming, and it was a lovely here in Brazil afternoon. Not night yet. So it is
Yeah.
almost 3. So you can.
Thank you so much, Priscilla, for joining us and for this wonderful presentation. I have been actually following you so carefully. I usually tweet around and on posts on Facebook, and but then there were certain things that you have shared and ideas and the experience that actually I think were and are very valuable for all of us to hear, because as I posted and many other of our colleagues here in the Adobe had written that the experience, the ideas, as you have mentioned, is something that we can share and maybe learn. Any idea is a good idea. Any app that you share is a good app. It could work for your students. I could try them with my students. Maybe they work, maybe they don't. Maybe I will try another one, and so on. So we can't just close up, let's say, and close ourselves in our classrooms, and we need to try and ask for help and give help. So I really, really like how you completed and finished your presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, you
Yeah,
too. So thank you so much, eTwinning, for inviting me for the second time. It's a huge pleasure to be here with 45 teachers. Wow,
yeah,
that's
it's
great. So
yeah. There
thank
is.
you.
There is actually 47 of us, and I think we are all teachers. Um, the point is that I couldn't find any questions. I think we have all been following careful. We do recognize, I would say, some problems that we all have, either technology or, as somebody mentioned, I don't have these things. I don't have Wi-Fi, or my students are not allowed to use mobile phones, or something like that. But there are always things that somehow, if there is a will, there is a way. And it's a good thing that you have shown us how you use certain mobile phone apps. And I'm quite sure that these are not the only tools familiar to all of us, and maybe not all that you are currently using these. And I know that there are many of them, and there are colleagues here that have been using quite many tools, like Duma has mentioned. He has also been using and sharing and working a lot with web tools. Ariana is here as well as our eTwinning ambassador, and also a person who runs a lot of learning events, and she shares so many things. And even though it's here like primarily about special education needs, learning abilities, students with some problems and so on, it doesn't matter. You can use them with mainstream students. You can try out. You can have your mainstream students teach your inclusive students in the classroom. You help them. You in a way involve them to be tolerant, to be empathic, to be sympathetic, and to try to become better people. And this is what our training is actually. We have been talking about diversity, and this webinar is something I would say like a cherry on a cake that came on in the right time, just to say that it's not only about the tools, it's about the attitude, it's about I don't know, working and with people, with children, with students, and that's fantastic. Priscilla, would you like to add something? Any more questions, people? Please ask Priscilla while she's here.
For example, most of these apps that I showed to you here, they don't need to use Wi-Fi. So you don't worry about Wi-Fi in my classroom. Oh, my school doesn't have a quality Wi-Fi. Doesn't matter. Don't worry, because you can work without it. Okay, but I don't have a tablet to each student. I have 25 students. I don't have a tablet for everybody. No, don't worry. I use just one tablet, this one here, with my 25 students. So what I do, I try to work with them in circle, a big circle. And for example, like the spider, Mrs. Spider, they know the story about Mrs. Spider. This Mrs. Spider is another kind of Mrs. Spider. So I try to, it is about 20 page. I give them the chance to see. So now pass to your friend. Now, okay, now pass to your friend. So each one gonna touch my iPad and gonna see it. There is no problem, okay? So
Uh,
this is not the problem about I don't have it. For example, I just have a one cell phone. Okay, so you can use your cell phone and show to, oh, can you see here? Can you see here? Oh, very nice. That's it. Now you're gonna work. And nowadays, about my reality, about my contest, here in Brazil, most of the kids, I'm talking about kids about 12, 14 years old, they have their own device. So they have their own cell phone, the smartphone. So you can work with their own cell phone. You don't need to have it yours to him or to her. So you can give them the instruction, you put it on the board. Now you're gonna find this app on Google app or in iTunes. So let's go. If you have available Wi-Fi, in this case, if you have a Wi-Fi, or you can make them as a homework. Guys, next class, I will work with ultra text. So I need you to create a test and we're gonna share this in your classroom, okay, for the next class. So you can have many possibilities. So you can have many ideas. Don't need to do this in the classroom. You can send them home and of course they're gonna do it because it is not the homework from the workbook or the course book. It is a homework for the cell phone and they're gonna give them more intention to do it.
yeah. Well,
How much time do you
yeah.
spend?
We are almost. How much time do you spend with the phones, Priscilla? Natalia asks. How much time do you spend with the phones in the classroom? I suppose with your students.
Okay. At least 10 minutes. Not more than this. No more than this. Because
On in one
if I
lesson,
put
10
more
minutes
than
per
10,
lesson. Uh-huh.
10
It's
minutes
not like
per lesson.
It's is it every lesson or maybe just to now and then
No,
you?
no, no. Now, I select, for example, I have a lesson that I'm gonna talking about technology. In this classroom, I'm gonna use the phones, the tablet, something
Mhm.
like this. Or for example, uh, um, I want to work with them places. For example, travel. I want to travel to I want to know places in the world that I want to choose to visit as a holiday, as a vacation. So I asked them to bring their cell phone, and now we're gonna find out places that you would like to visit. So these kinds. But this idea, I don't work all the class. No, because it is gonna be like a routine. And kids, if we use this as a routine, they're gonna not they go, teacher, no, cell phone again. I don't want. I
Mhm.
don't want this idea from them. I want them. They catch them by surprise. Today I'm gonna work with iPhone, iPads. Did you bring your phone? Yes. So let's start. But it is not all the time. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. This is a very useful advice, I would say. I have been using a tablet from now on and a lot. And I noticed that it's not always good to use them. Like they get used to it and it's, as you said, as a routine. But actually, it should be fun. Yes, we're now working with tablets. We can show what we can do. But then again, let's work some other classical ways or use the textbook or let's draw, let's illustrate and so. So let's work with hands. So there are various multiple intelligences in the classroom that we can work with. And somebody in our group mentioned even that students are various. Some are visual, some are kinesthetic, some are audio. So we should try to work out, and it's sometimes a bit difficult. I agree with all of the comments. Okay, there's a question from Giovanna. Is there in your school an e-safety policy?
Oh, can I answer first the Barbara? Barbara is
Barbara.
asking me,
Oh,
is that as a
revision.
revision time or motivational? most I can work with them with a revision. For example, ultra text, I can work with them like a revision and motivate them, of course, because when I set some activities that gonna engage them to work with groups, this is very motivational. It is the idea. Of course, I do. And is there in your school a safety policy? Oh, yes. For example, I didn't show you this time any picture of my students because we have now in Brazil a law that we cannot take pictures of kids without parents' permission. It is that the school is doing nowadays. So I have pictures of my students doing these activities, but I cannot show anybody else. And they are not supposed to take pictures during the classroom. Instead of, they have to do some activities. In this case, if they have to do activity that I need pictures, before I called, I had to contact my coordinator and explain her with my lesson plan why I'm using that image, that pictures from my student, and she's gonna make it like a letter to the parents, and they have to sign that they agree with that. If they don't agree, so I cannot use it. This is the idea. And for example, in our institution, some websites are blocked, so they cannot access without our password. So if they go to another kind of website, it was my for example internet signature that's gonna be there. So the teacher Priscila permit me to go to site that is not allowed for kids. So this is something that we are very strict to the rules, very strict to the law, to not use it without permission of my school and the parents. I do not use things that the parents are not knowing that the kids are using. Okay, this is the idea.
Excellent. Thank you so much. People have been asking that about the presentation, and now I'm just going to thank you so much, Priscilla. I don't know what else to say. You are wonderful. You are always coming and visit us, and I hope you will come and join us a few more times because I always learn something new from you. And thank you one more time for being our guest tweeter at the Autism Awareness tweet chat that we had on 21st of April or something. I have posted the eTwinning actually chat summary on Storyfy as well, and there are so many useful web links that you have also shared on that. Thank you everybody for coming. And now just few tips before you all leave. If you want to get a certificate of attendance, then just fill in the form. Priscilla, don't leave us yet, please. Do
No,
fill
no,
in
I'm
this.
not leaving.
Yeah, do fill in this form one more time for the certificate if you wish, and please share the email that you want me to send you the certificate. Just a moment. I have posted several times in the chat already. Oh my God, it's wrong link. Oh, this link is for the newsletter. Sorry. Some people say please notify me on Facebook, on Twitter. I try, people, but sometimes it's best also to subscribe to my newsletter, to the group's newsletter, and I try to always announce of the activities we are doing. Unfortunately, I apologize to everybody. There is something wrong with the sending group emails to the group. So there are like 1,400 of us in the group at the moment, and I cannot send group emails. So that's why I want you to post this to subscribe to newsletter. Thank you, Lisa, for putting the Google Doc form. I was just going to post it again as well. So if somebody didn't fill in the form one more time, you can fill in. Um, and the last thing that I would like to say, and share. First of all, I'm very happy so many of you joined us. The second thing is Duma, Ariana, and many other people here. Željko from Serbia, he has been talking and putting in the chat while Priscilla was mentioning that you have been using certain apps and certain activities with your learning disability students. Okay, people, so let's prepare, let's have a a showcase, Teach Meet, as we had like a text Mac tool sharing where I'm going to give you 5 or 10 minutes, or it doesn't matter, where you can tell us what do you do, which tools are you sharing. So this will be one of the activities that I could prepare by June, and I'm going to invite you all in the group. I'm going to share a PowerPoint presentation in Google where you can all edit, and let's see what you are doing, and it will be fantastic to practice and to share, and we can then publish an ebook about it as well. I also hope for another tweet chat we are going to have in July. And one more thing, there will be another great webinar by my colleague in June, somewhere in the middle of June. She is not available at the moment, and my colleague is actually dyslexic. She's going to share her impersonal view about how to teach people with dyslexia. So I know I have been circling around with autism, Down syndrome, and dyslexia, but I think these are so far very useful things, and after that I would like you to give me other ideas, other tips. What can we do? How can we improve the work in our inclusive education group? Thank you one more time, everybody, for coming. Thank you, Priscilla. I'm sending you a big kiss, and
Oh, big hug to you all.
and thank you everybody for joining us. I'm going to stop the recording now. And this was our fourth eTwinning Inclusive Education Expert Talk with Priscila Mateini on the topic Engaging Students with SEN. Goodbye Europe, goodbye everybody, goodbye Priscilla, and see you in the Inclusive Education eTwinning group, people, on Facebook and Twitter as well. Bye bye.
Bye. See you.